While an undercover police sting caught a former Kingsport lieutenant on the job with a prostitute in his cruiser, a community watchdog investigation found that same officer misused his police car on multiple occasions and identified pictures and timesheets that raised questions about whether he even pocketed tax dollars for the time he did not work.
Yeah, the district attorney told us our discovery could impact Ralph Cline's upcoming sentencing hearing. Meanwhile, Kingsport's police chief said our findings clearly show more inappropriate behavior.
Yeah, in the weeks before agents placed an undercover camera in Ralph Cline's cruiser, we and others kept tabs on the then lieutenant's whereabouts with our cameras. Cline, one of the higher paid employees in the police department, supervised strategic operations, a role that included scheduling grant-funded overtime. Our investigation found his time is now in question. Tuesday, October 24th. Right before 9 a.m., Lieutenant Ralph Cline's access badge is used for the first time that day to get into the Kingsport Police Department. 2 hours later, I am here near the Assembly Church of God in Kingsport. Right around 11 o'clock, we saw a Kingsport police car here, so we're monitoring it to see how long it will be here today. We snapped this picture of Cline's unmarked police cruiser at his second job, where he worked as the church's part-time bookkeeper. It's now noon. We have been here for an hour, which means that police cruiser has remained at the church for at least an hour. We took this picture of the cruiser leaving a short time later. We know the car did not immediately return to the police department. His access badge not used again until almost 3 o'clock that afternoon.
That was a violation.
Chief David Quillen confirmed, at the least, the former lieutenant violated city policy by driving his city car to that church.
He was not allowed to do that.
And not just that time. Pictures provided to News Channel 11 along with dates and times show the same cruiser at the church on October 2nd for more than an hour. Cline's police department access badge not used again at all that day. The pictures also show a car matching the same description at the church in the morning a few days later. Cline's access badge not used again that day until 4 p.m. The month prior, another similar-looking car at the church late into the night. And then on September 13th at 10:26 p.m. On official city timesheets, Cline said he was in the midst of a 4-hour grant-funded traffic saturation patrol at that time, a patrol taxpayers paid him time and a half for. His hourly rate already more than $32 an hour. Public records show he only wrote 4 citations that night, the last nearly an hour before the time listed on this picture. When you saw that he said he was supposed to be running saturation patrol, but he wasn't, he was at the church, that was disappointing to you as well?
It was. I mean, this whole thing was disappointing.
After receiving a tip about Cline's possible involvement with a prostitute, the chief said his agency alerted the district attorney. The DA authorized an undercover sting, which quickly led to Cline's resignation and patronizing prostitution guilty plea last month.
We want to take that action to get him out of the department. And that was a black and white thing. It was a prostitute or it wasn't. So that was my main priority.
DA Barry Staubas said while he knew of other allegations against Cline, those were far less black and white. That's why he specifically asked state agents to focus on the prostitution claims.
I had some information that he may have been in other places, but I did not have a lot of detail. And again, my main concern was what can I prove immediately to get this thing taken care of.
Cline is seeking probation and eventual expungement for the crime, but Staubas said the judge can consider additional factors like what we've discovered at his sentencing hearing in February.
Whether or not that would tip the scale against diversion or not, that would be up to the judge to determine.
While Cline's future is still unclear, his past clearly shows a career bookended by problems. Cline's early years at KPD included multiple complaints about inappropriate behavior and misuse of his cruiser. The department even took away his police car at one point. But in the 25 years that followed,
I'd like to think that there's some value and some good that this particular officer was able to accomplish over his career.
Chief Quillen said there were no other warnings until a fellow officer came forward with a tip in late October.
We were as surprised by this as I possibly can say. I mean, we were duped. We're saddened.
Looking back, these activity sheets, which show a lack of activity, were likely a sign. Timesheets show Cline earned more than $2,000 in overtime working grant-funded saturation patrols this year. Patrols that resulted in him writing an average of just 1 citation per every hour worked.
You look back at it and The numbers appear to be lower probably than any of the other officers that have had that assignment in the past.
In any way, do you think the Kingsport Police Department let the public down in this situation?
I think Lieutenant Cline let us down.
Chief Quillen said while the blame falls squarely on the shoulders of this former lieutenant,
We don't know what we don't know.
the department since learned from the situation, and its supervisors are pledging to restore the public's trust and confidence by keeping a closer watch on its officers.
I'm sorry that we have all went through this together, and we're going to work hard to come out on the other end and provide an even higher level of service.
The police department said Cline's supervisory position came with a flexible schedule and valid reasons to routinely leave the office, but it also came with a significant amount of trust. Trust the chief says Cline violated, even telling us he's heard the former officer arranged meetings with prostitutes using his work phone and work computer. Josh, one more important note to pass along. We previously mentioned Cline's filed for his retirement benefits through the state of Tennessee. Well, according to state law, one thing that would disqualify him from collecting those state retirement benefits is a felony conviction. He pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor.
I know, Nate, the district attorney told you that the Kingsport Police Department knows of any additional criminal activity.
If they know.
If they know of any, they're going to look into that as well. A lot of work into this report. Thank you for your time.